No matter how bad things are going in your life, just make sure that you show up better than anybody else. If you work at McDonald's, I hope that you don't. Just like make sure you are the best McDonald's worker.
McDonald's employee. Yeah, I love that.
And she didn't say it in any other way other than opportunity will come if someone notices that you put this kind of effort into it.
This is the I Am a Comeback podcast, the Comeback Chronicles edition, a place where winners go to win, where you will never quit and you are relentless in the pursuit of having it all. Not just having it all, but being free. Because why? Comebacks never give up. The greatest gift, the greatest power you possess the ability to choose. You choose to win or you choose to lose. At the end of the day, winners never quit and quitters never win. What's up, everybody? Today we got Ryan Fischer here, man. Chalk Performance, right, bro?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, this is our first time, well, in person. We text back and forth on WhatsApp when you're out touring the world.
Yep.
So we just sat for about 15, 20 minutes kind of talking about what we're going to do and the purpose of everything, and I just knew we could honor. I'm just going to free flow, and we're going to knock it out this way. Cool. One of the most important things that I think you just said was that you want to inspire people, right? You want to probably motivate and inspire people, and that's exactly why you're on this podcast, because not many people motivate and inspire me. Okay, I'm a leader of leaders. I prep people for conversations with Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, literally like high ticket to very high performing individuals. So I have, heavy is the head that wears a crown, right? I don't have many people that will hold me accountable. And all of a sudden I'm on this internet, which I don't really love the internet, the Instagram, right? And I'm on there and I'm like, who's this dude yelling all the time over here? Right?
He loves it.
I'm like, who is this guy? He's just yelling at stuff, and it's like short, powerful, impactful, not overly
fluff.
Like just very quick to the point. I'm like, man, I like this guy. And I was looking for a fitness. I've always been in good shape, right? I'm like, I just want something a little more fine-tuned, want to follow some stuff, which, by the way, since we moved has been a mess. I've not ate much at all, so I got to fix that. But anyways, I'm going through this thing, man, and I'm looking at you, and I'm like, I really like this guy. And I wanted to find my own guy, and what I mentioned by that was I wanted somebody that was different. And you embodied something different. You, like she said, you're reminded of her brother. Her brother was like you, built like you. He passed away. I don't know how much of the story you want to share, but it was her little brother, and he passed away in a car accident. And I'm like, man, I like this guy. I like him a lot. And then you put that ad you were talking about, like it's expensive. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is my kind of guy too, right? Because I want to pay for the best.
Yep.
I want to talk to the best guys. Couple things. One, really love the program. Like really, really loved it. Like when I've not been able to concentrate because we've been here. I've got to reboot myself. But the first 3, 4, about a couple months on it.
You were solid.
Yeah, I put on 2.5 pounds of muscle, dropped body fat, worked with Dan. Things were great. Long story short, what I want to do today is I want to leave my audience and the people that follow us and listen to us inspired. And I also wanted to give a platform for Kendra here to be able to ask you a bunch of questions, because once I was following him, I'm like, oh, she follows him too.
Yeah.
Right? So
I actually think I was following him before you did.
Probably, right?
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like a thing, and you are the first guest that we've had on on this podcast. We've done stuff back in Wisconsin, but it's the I Am a Comeback, the Comeback Chronicles. And I Am a Comeback is a statement. I am is very powerful, right? Comeback is a word. Everybody loves a comeback story. So what I'm doing here with this podcast is I'm going to put on all the people who people overlooked. Not saying that you got overlooked, but when I was coming up through the ranks trying to build myself, and because I'm attached to alcohol, all the real cool people wanted nothing to do with me. So I decided I'm going to make a podcast that's going to reach to millions of people where I can say, screw those people, and I'm going to give everybody a voice. And you get to be the first person to motivate and inspire this podcast like you motivated and inspired me to make a change inside of my life that has actually helped me. So I want to thank you for that. Okay?
Thank you. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then what we'll do is I just want to find out about you, man. Get to know you a little bit in real life, and then give you the floor to just do whatever you want to do, like with the clients or with the people and where they can find you. So question number one I have for you, bro, is I'm going to come straight out of the gate. We've all overcome, you just told me your numbers you make here, right? We'll leave that between us. But to get to that point, you've had to eat some crap. You've had to probably work at gyms. You're all over the world, right? That's what it takes to be successful is a lot of hard work that people are not willing to do. Sleepless nights, right? Probably didn't have money for groceries and food at times in your life. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the low moments of your life, what it was like when you're building this company.
Well, first off, I think getting people to understand that whatever moment you're in is definitely temporary if you want it to be. And I feel like I've always been really good at making my worst moments something that I actually looked forward to each and every day, and getting excited about the fact that I know I'm in a really bad spot, but because I'm willing to do something about it, used to spring me out of bed in the morning. I actually have a really good friend of mine, this guy Anders Varner, when I used to live in San Diego, and he wrote this letter about me that he posted on his blog for his gym. And he's just like this, I mean, every time I read it, I feel like I start crying, because it's just like this story of him talking about me coming into the gym when I didn't have anything. And there's this moment where I was sleeping on couches for like 4.5 months on this person who I didn't even know. And I had lost everything, and I didn't have any money or anything.
How did you lose everything, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I had moved to San Diego. Previous to all of this, I was on the Olympic team for a sport called skeleton. I did that for like 5 years, and I also did bobsled as well.
Okay.
And then when the Olympics were over, by the way, like the year of the Olympics, I got injured. I tore my hamstring, and like all these things happened, so I didn't wind up going to the Olympics. And then I wound up going back to school, finished my degree. During that time, got into CrossFit and all of these things. And I started becoming like this very famous athlete. So from there, I wanted to fly to San Diego, and I was gonna work at a gym that I had found this like management position on Craigslist.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna do CrossFit for fun, and then hopefully I'm gonna go in the military and become like a Navy SEAL. And everyone said that if I do CrossFit, this would be like a great way of getting in shape for all that stuff. So while I'm there, I wound up like getting in this argument with the owner of the gym, and like we just didn't really, not like in a bad way, it was kind of like, this is the way we were gonna program the workouts, and I was like, no, it's not smart. Like, I mean, I went to school for all this stuff, like it needs to be this way, you know? So we'd bump heads and this and that, and I would change the program. And then one day she came in and she just freaked out. She's like, what's going on? Like in front of everybody there. And basically, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna go get a job at a different gym. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. And I quit. And then when I quit, I didn't have anything else lined up. So 3 months went by, 4 months went by, and then all my savings just started to kind of like deplete. And I was telling all my friends, I'm like, hey guys, like, I gotta like move back home, I think. Like, I don't know what to do. Like tomorrow I'm gonna be living in my car because I got nothing. And at this time, my friend was like, and a lot of people in the gym were like, dude, we love you. Like, we don't want you to leave. Like, we gotta figure out something. So this girl stepped up who I didn't even know at all. And she's like, you know, you can stay on my couch. I'm a nurse. You know, I work I work big shifts and stuff like that. And, you know, like whatever. So I was like, okay. So I slept on this girl's couch. Meanwhile, like, I'm somebody who was like on the Olympic team. I have my college degree. I'm really smart. Like, I'm a go-getter, all these things. Like, I remember I would literally every single night, I would be like laying in the bed, and I would just start crying. Like, I'd just be like, I fucking hate I hate my life. Like, I have all these accolades, and like, I'm here, and like this sucks. And I tried to get a job at Costco. I tried to get a job at like all the colleges to like help with some of the athletes and stuff like that, and nothing was coming through. So I started stealing food from the grocery store. That was like one of my things for a while. I would just bring a bag to Whole Foods, fill it up, and then I'd go buy like a tea for $1, and then just like stand there with my bag, buy the tea, then just go sit down, and then I would just eat all my food there and everything. I figured, I was like, if I had the balls to do that, then they probably wouldn't say anything. It probably seemed like it was legit. So that went on for a while.
Wow. And
then I actually wound up stealing Christmas presents for my family one year for Christmas. And I was running away out of the Saks Fifth Avenue.
So you're going for high-class presents.
I was gonna say,
way to go, Papa, to go.
nice.
Yeah, he didn't go to the dollar store.
And then I was running, and I dropped the bag, and inside the bag was my wallet and my car keys. So as I'm running, I'm like, what's the point? I mean, they're gonna have all my information anyway. So I stopped, they tackled me, and then I have this really bad knee, so the guy's like trying to get me in this weird position. So I wound up like getting in a fight with the guy and like kind of doing like a little bit of an assault charge in there.
Sure.
Because I just didn't want, I was trying to tell him to just like,
You're in
just
pain,
chill.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then like, I just was like, all right, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. So we got into a fight, and then, yeah, man, like that was basically how it all started. And I got 1,500 hours of community service.
Wow.
And if we fast forward a little bit, I wound up.
What year was that?
This is 2000 and probably 13. Because I opened my gym in 2014. So
That's a short turnaround, man. 13 to be essentially broke, busted, out with nothing in 1 year to start a gym. That's awesome.
well, I used to coach classes, and I remember like since I was young, my mom used to always tell me like, no matter how bad things are going in your life, just make sure that you show up better than anybody else. So
I
like
love
worst
that.
case scenario, if you work at McDonald's
Just be the
I
best.
hope that you don't. Just like make sure you are the best
Be the
McDonald's
best
worker.
McDonald's employee. Yeah, I love that.
And she didn't say it in any other way other than opportunity will come if someone notices that you put this kind of effort into it. Like people will always respect that.
Yep.
So when I coached classes at this gym, for a guy that, to be fair, I didn't really necessarily care for, but I liked all the people. You know, there was this one guy that you would have never have ever have known that he was very successful, and he was watching me the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then one day it was
Paying
just like,
attention to that effort.
yep. And then one day he just was like, what do you think about opening your own gym? And I was like, I think that sounds like a terrible idea. I was like, I'm making pretty good money coaching classes. I'm getting some private clients. Like, I'm pretty happy. Like, there's a whole bunch of gyms in town. I don't think anybody would want to come to mine. And he was like, I think you're underestimating it. I think they would want to come. And I was like, man, I will do it if you can get me like the best space. Like, I'm talking, I want like $1 million gym, like all this stuff. And here I am, somebody with no money, and I'm like demanding $1 million and all this stuff. This guy had so much money where he's like, I'll give you $1 million. And I was like, oh.
You will.
And then he's like, and I have a spot. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I went from like saying I was going to do this thing to just being very self-conscious of like, oh my God, can I do this? I started questioning myself. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I was like, you should never question yourself. Like, you know exactly what you want deep down. Like, as soon as he said it, that's what you wanted. But at the same time, you're just nervous to say yes, and you're nervous to make that commitment. So we wound up doing it. And when the gym started, you want to talk about like the comeback story, the underdog story.
Yeah.
The gym started. I have 1,500 hours community service. It starts basically when the gym starts. So I open the gym.
Wow.
You got to build a gym and go to community service.
I had one trainer in the beginning who was going to work for me, and he bailed on me the day we opened.
Oh my goodness.
To go work at another gym. He did it on purpose. So I had to coach 10 classes every day. 10 classes every day by myself. And I had like 3 different personal training clients who I needed to make the money on top of what I was getting at the gym. Because I was getting like $7,000 a month as a trainer, like doing classes and doing clients. And then when I opened the gym, I was only getting $4,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So I needed those extra clients to start to like get my income up a little bit. So when this is all going on, literally I could not go do the trash at the parks unless it was on the weekend. So I'd close the gym on the weekend and I'd go pick up trash for like 12 hours a day at the parks. And then I'd hire my first coach and they come in. And then I'd go clean up trash at the parks the days that they were there. And they would even ask me like, Ryan, what are you doing on the days that I'm coaching? You're never even here at all. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got like a lot of like weird stuff to do. Like, like I gotta like do paperwork and stuff like that. You don't want to see that.
Paperwork, trash.
So
That's funny.
this went on for 3 years. For 3 years.
Wow.
I had not one single day in my life for 3 years where I worked less than like 15 hours a day, maybe more. Like I used to go to bed at 11, wake up at 4, be at the gym at 4:30 on every single holiday, every single weekend. Like any time that I would get any little bit of time, I'd go pick up trash at those parks for 12, 15 hours a day.
That's crazy.
And just like, that was my life. And it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. And at the same time, it was the best thing that ever happened to me my whole life too. Mm-hmm. I feel nothing for any amount of work. I have absurd amounts of work to do all the time. I'm still the guy who owns and operates the majority of his company like a complete idiot. But I just feel like I just don't care. I just wake up and I'll just do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how
that
started.
I think that mindset is probably what attracted me to you, because I'm not going to share my story, right, because this is about you today, but very similar, man. Against all odds is why we're sitting inside of this room. I just built and built and built and built and built with people trying to pin a murder case on me. Like if we went through my story, it's pretty gnarly, right? And just built and built and owed the IRS $1.5 million and owed a bunch of people, and it was just build and build and build, and eventually I got back to zero. When I got back to zero, I could breathe, and once I could breathe, her and I started building this world. What, when you were down in those moments and you had nothing, and I know you just focused on working, what did you do for an escape? Was there any escape, or was it work? Because the voices get heavy.
At the time, I was training for the CrossFit Games.
Okay.
So for me, I would get these like 10, 15-minute breaks in between classes where basically I would just throw down until like I would die. I would hit these weights as hard as I possibly humanly could, no warm up, and just go straight in from that, put the weights to the side and go coach class. And I get these little 10-minute intervals all the time. And everybody knew that Ryan didn't eat all day because I was there all day. So it was like a known thing to bring rotisserie chickens into the gym.
Sure.
So I'd be like crushing these rotisserie chickens, then go into this crazy workout and then coach classes. And then it'd be like 10 o'clock at night and I'd do like an Instagram live of me working out. I'd just put my camera up and just be like, always the guy that was like, no excuses, no excuses, no excuses. And dude, I mean, I smile right now thinking about it. I love that shit.
Much different life now than then though, huh? Like talk about where you're at now. Like that's the pit. And
Yeah, I was gonna say let's kind of cover just so everybody. So you went from essentially young kid, down and out, essentially. You know, hadn't really been given a bunch of opportunity, but you had your work ethic. Obviously, that is what solidified this gentleman coming up to you and saying, "Dude, like you're a hard ass worker. I see something in you." You end up building a gym. You end up being a massive CrossFit athlete. So we can talk a little bit about that, covering that CrossFit athlete, and then into what you're doing now, which is Chalk Performance, helping thousands of people, literally thousands of people.
How many clients do you have right now? Or how many on
We have like 50,000 on the app right now.
Sick, bro.
So sick.
Yeah, it's like one of the bigger ones in the world, I guess. So
That's
So,
a
hey,
big,
yeah.
that's
every
a
time
big
I talk about it, people freak out. And then we have like a few hundred people in the one-on-one coaching, and that's something I want to grow. And I mean, we do all sorts of stuff. I'm doing a challenge right now called Built Different.
Yep.
And it's basically all the different decisions that people make that give them different results, because I believe uncommon decisions get uncommon results.
Yeah, I think I've seen the posts
Yeah.
like that over and over.
I
and
love
over.
that kind of stuff.
Where's the request did you have?
Yeah,
for
no,
him?
I want you to cover just briefly, you know, having your gym. Let's cover a little bit of your CrossFit background, just because I feel like that's pretty pertinent into you being into the fitness world that you're in now.
Do you know my CrossFit story?
I don't know,
Oh.
so I want to know it. I want to know.
don't know it
Yeah.
either? Oh, man.
I feel like there's a juicy like CrossFit story
Oh,
here.
yeah, there is.
Yeah. So I want to
know
hear that.
what I saw, and I'm just like, man, I like this dude. So I only know this version. I don't know that version, and honestly, I'm busy, just like you
Yeah.
are doing stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna go check stuff out, but I'm gonna get to know this guy.
Yeah, so I came on the scene as like this completely random person who just was, like at the time, people were squatting like 365 pounds. I remember Rich Froning posted a video of that and everybody's going nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I could do that. So I did it for 20. And like I could squat like 500 pounds at the time. And then people were snatching like 225 pounds and I could snatch like 275 at the time. And then I was just figuring out how to do the CrossFit workouts. And then like I did the CrossFit Open and like there was a couple workouts where I beat the best guys in the world. And I was like this completely random guy.
Yep.
And then during the time when I'm sleeping on the couches, at that particular time, I hadn't decided I was gonna start stealing stuff yet because like money wasn't bad enough. But I had one pair of shoes during that time and like 3 gym outfits. And all of the videos that I was posting, I would do all of the workouts barefoot. And people knew me as like this broke, poor kid who's like working out barefoot. And then I remember I got accepted to go to this big competition called the OC Throwdown. It's like the biggest event in the world besides the CrossFit Games. And I did this online qualifier for it. I did all my stuff barefoot. It's still on YouTube to this day. And everybody was going nuts. Like this is when my social media at the time, I didn't have Instagram yet, I just had Facebook. But once I started an Instagram account, I immediately got like 10,000 followers because everybody was like following me on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
And then from there, I qualified for this event, but it was like $200 to go. And the owner of the event was like, hey, we really want you to come to this event. Like you have the most views of anyone. Like everyone is super excited to go there. And we have all these CrossFit Games athletes and you have more views than all of them. Like we just want to see you. And I was like, yeah, I don't have any money. I'm like broke and I'm like homeless.
make it, yeah.
And the guy's like, get out of here. And I'm like, no, the no shoe thing is real. and he's like, dude, let's do this. He's like, you sound like a cool guy. He's like, why don't you just come? If you win, you pay me the money back. And I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I go, I get second place to this event. I beat all these like most famous athletes. And this is when my life started to change. I got off the couch. I got a job in Los Angeles. I started working at a gym. I started getting sponsors, started just randomly raising my prices for personal training, like super, super high because I was in Los Angeles and I figured some of these people had more money. So I just throw these crazy numbers out there and they'd be like, okay. I used to run into the bathroom and start screaming. I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you just said yes to that. And then I'm at the height of my career and I'm like, everybody knows that like I'm one of the top guys in the world. And I needed to go to the CrossFit Games because to me, making it there would have meant that like I was this pro athlete, everybody knew who I was, I could get more money for sponsors, more people would come to my gym, like I would be like the dude. And I'm in the middle of an event doing deadlifts. This is in 2013, I believe. And this guy, the coach or the judge, is just saying like, he's not counting any of my reps. And I'm like yelling at the guy. And we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So then I yell, when this is over, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And it's very, very loud and aggressive. And you can go on YouTube and it's like all, like, it was a very, very big deal. They took that video, put it on the CrossFit Games website, said,
Oh, man.
this guy's a maniac, and like, this is what we don't wanna see. And I went from 10,000 followers to 90,000 followers overnight. Everyone called me the Johnny McEnroe of CrossFit. Like
They loved it.
Complete maniac.
Yeah.
And people kind of liked me for being like this
real.
insane person.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, if you watch the video, I am like losing my mind. And I got invited on all these podcasts when it was over. Everybody wants to talk to me. And they're like, dude, like, what the fuck? And I was like, dude, you don't understand what my life looked like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand what I did? Like, I used to tell people all these stories of like, you know, me with the community service and this and that. And like, you know, I opened the gym and like, I wasn't making any money and I'm just grinding away. And like, you know, it felt like my entire life was that moment. It wasn't just like that 3 minutes that you guys saw. It was like my 30 years of my life.
All in
Yeah,
one
all
moment.
into
Yeah.
one explosive moment. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, stupid question, but were the reps, were they like
They actually
looking?
were legit.
They were legit.
Yeah.
So looking back now, I'd imagine you probably saw them like that's a legit rep.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because although had he counted them, the outcome of your life would be different.
Completely different, yeah.
Would it be better or worse, you think?
Worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So that guy not counting your reps made you make a decision that changed your life forever.
It made me switch to business and actually start working on creating a brand and creating everything I have now. So if it wasn't for that moment, I would have stayed being an athlete, which the sport of CrossFit now is like dying.
Sure.
But I was such a hardcore athlete that like, I think every single year I'd be like, if I ever got like second place or whatever, I'd be like, I'm gonna train as hard as I can this whole year so I can go next year and win. And I've watched athletes ever since then doing that every year. And these are amazing humans who just have nothing to show for it. And I'm so thankful that's not me now.
Yeah. It's not just your sport, man. It's dirt bikes, it's baseball, football, skiing, all types of sports, man. Guys have they have their mind set on where they're going and it doesn't pan out and it leaves them in a place of depression where most people end up drinking and getting fat, right?
I had my depression, but I just didn't do anything. I didn't have any like vices or anything for it. I just moped around for probably about 3 months.
Did you literally just lay on the couch? You said you were on the couch. Do you mean you were like actively just depressed on the couch, or?
I think my depression was more of like, I worked out with everybody in the gym. Like I was in the gym all day, every day. And it went from, I'm gonna do this workout in the fastest time that anyone's ever seen it so that I can become the best athlete in the world, to just like, okay, I'll just work out with you guys, but like,
There's no intensity anymore.
there's no, I mean, I would still do it harder than everybody else because I wanted everyone to know that I was better than them, but it wasn't like enough for me. Like it
It
didn't,
wasn't to your standard.
yeah, it wasn't enough for me.
So a question that I have, and we kind of answered it, but I just want to give our viewers just like a direct, which is something I really love about you. No doubt was moments throughout your entire comeback story where you just felt so defeated and like everything was stacked against you. From sleeping on some girl's couch that you literally didn't even know to 15, how many hours of community service, picking up trash? 1,500 to you know, being a completely underlooked, impressive athlete. How did you maintain a winning mindset in all of those moments when you felt like everything was completely stacked against you? Like, what was going on? What was going on in your head? Like, how did you keep that winning mindset?
I mean, nothing could really get worse than it was.
I love that. I love it.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, what was the risk?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's scarier now there's things that I want to do right now that might cost me like right now I want to build a new app for my app right now. I want to build a new version of it. It's probably like $1 million or something like that. It terrifies me.
Yeah.
But like back then, if I had like $1,000 in my account and it was, you know, spent $1,000, which was, you know, that would be all I had, I wouldn't even flinch. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's kind of the same thing. And like I said earlier, like my whole mission and values of Chalk Performance Training and my brand and all my things is to build a community of people who are built different. What are the different decisions that you make every single day that get you different results? I believe that uncommon decisions get uncommon results. I believe that you should be making conscious decisions every single day that are the opposite of the normal.
I love it.
And as that happens, and when you're in these scenarios, I mean, I've always believed this, like ever since my mom even told me just to be the person who's the best in the room. That's the opposite decision of everybody else. Like people don't actually think that way. People just like want the easy option. They want the convenient
Autopilot.
option. Yeah, they want comfort. And like whenever I feel that, it actually makes me nervous. Whenever I'm comfortable, it like really, really bothers me. That's part of why I travel so much. Like I get a little bit comfortable at home and I'm just like, I gotta go do something. Something needs to change.
So really quick, obviously there was something, I mean, and maybe there wasn't, maybe you can't pinpoint it or articulate it even right now because it's kind of on the spot. But there must have been a moment in your life, like something where you were just like, you know what? I refuse to literally ever feel like helpless or defeated. Can you remember what that was that gave you this mindset literally right now where you're just like, nope, I'm gonna do everything the exact opposite of what pretty much everybody else does because I want a completely different elevated life?
Yeah. Shit, sorry.
No.
Very good.
So I guess, I mean, I grew up in a family where I was like very different than most people in my family. Like very different from my brothers, very different from my sisters. I didn't know my dad until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I think growing up, I never wanted to be like anybody in my family. It just upsets me because my family's dope too, like in their own way. I don't want anyone to think it's negative, but like,
Yeah.
I just like seeing like you said your brother passed away recently. So did mine like 3 months ago. And he died of heroin overdose.
I'm so sorry.
And I'll never forget what my mom said to me during that time. She called me and told me about it. It's just a couple months ago. And you know, we're both crying on the phone. And I hadn't heard her talk to him in like a while. Sure. And I'm just like, shit, like, you know, I can't believe this happened. I'm so sad. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And then she's like, you know, one of the things that was really a big bummer with Steven, which is my brother, she's like, he just didn't really believe in himself like you did. So I'm so happy that you're able to do that. And you should be thankful for that. And I wish that he had that same confidence and that same like work ethic that you had. But like, you know, there's people in his life that pulled him back and other people who were doing drugs and stuff that would pull him back. He'd go to rehab, he'd come out and relapse again. He'd been in rehab 7 times. And he really was a good kid, but just had a terrible, terrible environment. And I just remember all of these things growing up. Like, he just passed away a couple months ago, but I remember my whole life seeing him make bad decisions. My other brother is a drug dealer. I watched him make bad decisions. My 2 sisters, they're great people, but they're just nothing like me.
Yep.
I don't know. I think my environment growing up, there was a lot of good things about it and there was a lot of bad things about it, but I just knew that I always wanted whatever my future was going to be the complete opposite of what I had grown up.
And that literally carried you from, like you said, watching. Thank you for sharing your story, by the way. I
don't know why it always gets me.
No. Of course it should. It's literally, it's part of you, you know? But you are like that classic, you know, it's like the 2 sons with the alcoholic father. It's the one son becomes the alcoholic and the other son does the exact opposite, you know? And so I love that you shared that, so thank you. It's really, obviously it's carried you this far. You got chalk performance, you're a massive athlete. You are like completely embodying an I'm a comeback story. And I absolutely love that.
I had a question for you, or not so much a question, but you want to motivate and inspire people. You just shared a lot of really personal stuff right there, right? And there's people that either need to, like when I promote stuff, I don't just promote my brand, I promote making a choice, right? My whole message is you're not weak, you're not diseased, you're not powerless, you always have a choice. And it's not just about alcohol, it's about food, it's about relationships, about pornography, technology, any type of thing. Like, you're in control of your environment 24/7, 365 days a year, no matter what. But not everyone gets it like you do or I do, because some people are just, when they're baptized by fire, they melt, right? And some people get forged in fire, they come out like steel, they come out stronger, which is what happened to you, it's happened to me, which is why we are where we are. But there's people out there that are listening to this, my viewers, your viewers, and whoever we are gonna get down the road, who can't make a decision. This is the moment that I want you to talk to someone who's like, literally, there's the stern, direct approach, but I guarantee you, just from sitting with you, it comes from loving, right? It's because you probably love them, so you're hard on them, and you love yourself, and you're hard on yourself. But someone who's on the other side of making a choice to get in shape, to leave a relationship, to stop drinking, to stop doing drugs, what would you tell them?
I think the biggest reason that you're not able to get to where you want to be is because you're looking for permission from someone else to tell you that it's like okay to do the thing. You know, I think everyone's usually, more or less, they're nervous about other people's response to them wanting to make a change. And at the end of the day, like, you are going to have to give yourself the permission to do the things that you deserve to do. And as soon as you start to do that, people are going to question it, and that's completely fine. And it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. At the end of the day, like, they want what you have. They want that courage to do what you're doing, but at the end of the day, they can't make it. So they have something negative to say, or they have a negative look, or they have, you know, some like little remarks to say to somebody else because they want to be able to do that. And genuinely, they wish they could trade places.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times, you know, we want to make these big changes, and that's the first thing, is just understanding that whatever anybody else says doesn't really matter, and you need to give yourself permission to do this thing. And then the second thing is you need to actually create this identity shift starting on like that particular day. Because you're never obligated to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago.
Sure. 1
I love
second
that.
ago.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to be a new person, like, you can make that decision right now.
I love
like,
it.
Becoming a new person has nothing to do with the things that you have or the people you're around or anything. It's simply a decision, which I'm sure is probably part of your program.
100%.
And there's all these studies that talk about people who want to quit smoking, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. And someone asks them, like if you smoked before, and then I ask you, like, hey, do you want a cigarette? And you're like, no, I'm trying to quit. There's a ton of science that says, like, if you say the word trying, it means that you're only going to fail.
Right.
But if you say, no, I don't smoke, then that's it. It's over. You've made that mindset shift where you will no longer go back to where you were before. Actually, earlier today, you said, I don't curse. And you didn't say that I'm going to try to not curse anymore. Yeah,
So
you said,
literally
"I
what
don't
you
curse
said
anymore."
is how I've done everything.
Yeah.
So I used to, when I drank, I just decided I don't drink anymore. And for the record, you're like pro CrossFitter, I was a pro drinker. Like, I drank legit, and I made, from 27 to 33 years old, I made $100 million in a trucking company, and I knew nothing about it. Developed a $3,000 a day drinking and cocaine habit, right? But at the peak of my drinking career, I would drink 50 to 60 drinks a day.
Oh.
I would snort cocaine all day long, take handfuls of pills, or shoot heroin to go to sleep,
Wow.
and make all that money, right? And then I blew it all up. So my comeback story, this is about you, this was great here. My comeback story was dark, depressing, disgusting, but very liberating. And we've helped only about 13,000 people so far, but we're a high ticket, it's great. We've touched millions of people. We're gonna touch a lot of people with this story. What I wanna do you have any other questions before I wrap this up?
No, please do.
So what I wanna do before we wrap it up though, is I wanna end these things on a positive note, right? So you're still writing your story. What does the future look like for you? What's next in your world, bro? What are you gonna conquer? Obviously traveling and doing this, and I'm not talking about relationship, but just in your world, what do you want? What are you going after?
I mean, I just want to make the biggest community possible on the low ticket side of things, like on just like the regular app.
Fitness world.
Yeah, in the fitness world, like I want to do more stuff
Who's
with my.
number one right now? Do you know? Is it you? Like size wise, right? Because are you enamored with size? Because we're exact opposite, right? I've got massive high ticket, small. I've not done low ticket.
Yeah.
I want what you have plus what I have.
I mean, same. I want both, right? But like, I mean, I want the actual app itself to be like 100,000 plus people,
That would be sick.
which honestly sounds insane. But there are people out there who have like 1 million people on their app. But it's a different style of program. Like the kind of program that I have to have 50,000 people is super impressive. Like if you're doing body weight workouts and kind of like at home in front of the TV and all that, then like, yeah, you can get to 1 million.
Sure.
It's not my vibe. A lot of people try to get me to switch too. People have been like, dude, you should just do this because you'll make more money. And I'm like, it's just not who I am.
I love
So I
that.
can't do it. And then on the high ticket side, I would like to have more communication with my people in person. I'd like to travel with them. I'm a big travel junkie. I'd like to do that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, you know, you talked about some of like these underlying reasons of why I do what I do. I think at the end of the day, I've always wanted like this family that I never had. And that's kind of the bigger reason why I build the stuff that I do.
You totally created your own reality.
Yeah, I made my own community. I made my own family.
I literally just said that on our call.
Yep. I love it so much.
I didn't have a family, so I created one.
Yeah.
Now
All
I
right,
got-
now I have 2 questions for you. 1, would you ever allow me to test drive your Bronco?
I wish I brought it.
Okay, and 2, you have a super dope comeback story. I know that everybody on here is gonna absolutely just love and something is going to hit and resonate with what you just shared. Do you believe that you are a true comeback?
100%.
Oh yeah, so I want you to look in that camera. Or hey, Chester, which camera should he look in? Look straight at that camera, bro. Say it with your chest. My name is Ryan Fischer, and I am a comeback.
My name is Ryan Fischer, and I am a comeback.
Boom!
I love it,
That was
bro.
sick.
That's awesome. That's how she wants to end all these podcasts. That's her idea. But,
like that.
Listen, man, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you live spontaneous and I got stuff going on, but anything I can do to help you, like learn stuff, like I'm a giver. I got another call. We could whiteboard out some stuff. We could come down and spend some more time together, and I'll literally show you exactly what I've done. I've spent time with John, told him some stuff a few years ago. It's helped him. And I'm here to help you. Like, you can be part of our family if you want, bro.
Yeah, dude, I don't have anybody out here.
That's awesome.
I literally just work at home all day.
That's awesome.
All right, well, we got 3 rascals that are gonna want to meet you too, so that's dope.
And then we're getting ready to wrap this thing up still, since we're still on air. Obviously, I know where to find you, but where's the best place for these people to find you if they want to join your chalk community? Chalk
Yeah, if you guys want to check me out, you can check me out on Instagram, Ryan Fish, RyanFisch. You can go to chalkperformancetraining.com, which is CHALK, performancetraining.com. And then, anything fitness related, I got your back.
That's awesome.
Fitness and travel.
This is the I Am a Comeback podcast, the Comeback Chronicles Edition, a place where winners go to win, where you will never quit and you are relentless in the pursuit of having it all. Not just having it all, but being free. Because why? Comebacks never give up. The greatest gift, the greatest power that you possess, the ability to choose. You choose to win or you choose to lose. At the end of the day, winners never quit and quitters never win. We'll see you guys next week.